Welcome back to the Morning Show here on the Rise News. I am Adesua Omoroan.
And I'm Rufai Oseni.
Well, since the adoption of the report of an ad hoc committee mandated to investigate the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly, chaired by Abdulrazak Namdas by the Federal House of Representatives, Governor Pedro Obaseki is yet to yield to their resolution, which states that a fresh proclamation for the Edo State House of Assembly must be carried out.
The ultimatum to the governor to carry out the order also include the risk of the Federal House takeover of the Edo State Assembly.
Well, following this development, some Edo State residents have carried out solidarity protests at the Oba Ovorame King Square in Benin over the ultimatum issued by the House of Representatives.
So joining us to discuss on the Edo State Assembly crisis is Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki, convener of Midwest Movement, a renowned group in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria made up of prominent sons and daughters from the defunct Midwestern region. Don Pedro Obaseki, who became more politically popular when he threw his heart into the contest of the Edo State governorship elections by confronting his first cousin, the incumbent governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki, in the Edo elections.
Well, one of Obaseki's milestone achievements, aside politics, is his doctoral thesis, liberalizing broadcast space in a developing economy as a panacea for coups, which brought about the privatization of electronic media in the country and, by extension, an end to coups. Welcome to the Morning Show. Great to have you.
Good morning, and Rufai, good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't know you guys have done such background checks. Maybe you guys should be working on a profiling establishment.
They are not screening you for ministerial position.
Oh, no, the screening, no, let's not go into that. The screening is a farce.
So let's begin from Edo State, from home. What do you make of the current political situation? What's your interpretation of what is going on?
I think it is healthy for our political development as a people, because the Edo peoples are a very peculiar people. We are both heterogeneous and at the same time homogeneous. And there's no other state that has that kind of plurality in Nigeria. You know, singular and plural at the same time. All of us are Edos, but within that, our dialects are different, linguistic leanings are different, but we have a common historical purpose. And that gives the state a kind of flexibility. I don't think there's any other state in Nigeria that has the kind of political engineering you have in our state. Edo State is the only state in Nigeria that seems to be an APC state, and at the same time, legislatively, a PDP state. It's a state which in the last, almost since the entrance of Adams Oshiomhole as the governor I think that was November 12th, 2008, till now, we have 5 PDP House of Reps, 4 APC House of Reps, 1 APC senator, 2 PDP senator, and in the last 3 terms, an APC governor. So there's no other state that has that kind of engineering. So I think what is happening in the state is healthy in a way. As you cannot move a people forward until you raise their brain power upwards. And that includes raising their political awareness. And the level of political awareness in Edo State, I don't think is rivaled in any part of the South-South.
Is this homo heterogeneity the basis for this challenge, and based on the antecedents of what is happening in Edo State, that Adams Oshiomhole, you know, being from the northern part of the state, and you people being true Edo indigenous
from the South.
From the other side. Is this the reason why you're saying somebody that is sent to be a northern part of the state, you know, the Muslim, the other language-speaking area cannot come and dictate to we Edo people?
No,
that's what a lot of people are saying is happening.
See, I think those people are a little bit uninformed.
But that's what is happening.
It's a perception.
Adams Oshiomhole is an outsider, not be Edo Peking.
Adams, no, wait first, relax. Adams, say his rise to governorship in Edo State is in the open domain. And his sustenance as governor for the 8 years he was in government was actually to a very large extent due to the support, he said it himself, of Edo South. In fact, to date, those who seem to be carrying the Adams mantle are not basically from Edo North. The one that said he's going to slap my elder brother is a young man from Edo South, Tony Kabaka. So, and the people leading the Edo People's Movement, those who are in the public domain, whose faces we are seeing carrying the cudgel, are not from Edo North. We are talking about Barrister Henry Idahagbon, who was once a local government chairman of Ego, local government area, which is a metropolitan local government area in Benin City. And he is the president, or the field marshal, or whatever title he so would love to ascribe to himself, of the Edo People's Movement, who are the ones clamoring for this wahala. On the other hand, there is Samson Osagie. Samson Osagie was a former minority whip of the House of Reps, representing Uhunde Oriomo Federal Constituency in Edo South. So anybody who now begins to ascribe to it that kind of micro geopolitical divide between Edo North and Edo South have been economical with the truth. I do not think so. I think what is playing out is the fact that a lot of persons are beginning to see that even the things that Adams Oshiomhole, Abinishio, fought against when he came into power in 2008. I was part of the No Man is God, one man, one vote. That he used to preach. That pushed Osareme Osumba out. I'm happy that you are abreast with what is gone down in my state. So today, when the person who was a protagonist in that free the people from godfatherism is now the antagonist in the new power play, you begin to wonder what is happening. It's as if it's some form of reverse osmosis, where those who were those who were slinging the guns at once upon a time appears to have lost out in a huge political game. And the political game, as far as I'm concerned, has also thrown up Godwin. Godwin Obaseki was touted at the beginning technocrat. He doesn't care about what happens in the political space. But everything about life is political, if you look at it. And I feel that the June 17th proclamation and the attendant fallouts therefrom was actually the political liberation call by Godwin, and I feel that is healthy for our people. It's basically that.
But where did it all go wrong between these two gentlemen? Because they go way back, before Godwin Obaseki headed his economic team.
Yes.
Both men go way back.
Yes.
In fact, when Governor Oshiomhole,
yes,
tipped Governor Obaseki as the next governor,
yes,
he wasn't popular.
Yeah.
He met a brick wall.
Yeah. I was part of that brick wall.
Yes. but now he's governor, and this fallout, this rancor. When did you think it went all wrong between them?
Humans by nature, we evolve, and the only thing that is constant, particularly in human interaction, is change. I also feel that if you look at the antecedents of both persons, they are very strong personalities, only that the way they exhibit their strength may be different. Since I was a kid, Uncle Godwin is a very quiet type, is mostly introverted, and you may mistake that for docility. But anybody who thinks that the quietness or quietitude of Godwin Nowegase Obaseki equates stupidity, that person is a milestone away from being smart, And on the other hand, the Oshiomhole is an antithesis of what Godwin is as a person, extroverted, loud. Many will say maybe to a little more constrained, garrulous. That is extremely opposite of what Godwin is. So, but in terms of their working relationship before now, there's no way you can tell the mind's design on the face. But from what we've heard, contextually between Oshiomhole, particularly from Oshiomhole, on the campaign trail, he made it clear that I want to quote him, that whatever successes my government has attained is due to the ingenuity of Godwin Obaseki. And that was the reason why he stood his ground. Now, secondly, I remember at a reception that was at, your boss was one of those who hosted the reception somewhere in Victoria Island. That was why he was still in government, while trying to raise money for his first term. He actually said that it was Godwin that raised the first tranche of funds from corporate Nigeria that made him run for office. So if not for Godwin, there would have been no Oshomole. So the only difference is Godwin did not shout about his perceived contribution to the emergence of Adams Oshomole as the governor of Edo State. But on the other hand, that's why I say it's like reverse osmosis. Oshomole's own was more in the public space. But I feel that maybe going down, the governor's ethos, the style, personality, thrust, you know, the push of both of them are diametrically opposite. And so when such a thing happens, there is bound to be some form of corrosion. And that corrosiveness has maybe played out in the open space. But I also feel that going forward, there is absolutely nothing. Because I know Adams Oshomole closely. He is not the one who backs down from a fight. You know, at the same time, I know that he actually has the well-being of the larger population, you know, at heart. So taking that into consideration, I implicitly believe that there will be a rapprochement. There will be a cooling down of all these tempers. Because the people who are actually fanning the embers are the foot soldiers. And those foot soldiers, like in every power play, at the end of the day, they will be pawns in a larger chessboard. So I think the best way to handle the crisis is for all sides to relax, take a pause, look at the larger Edo polity, and then do the needful and allow the sitting governor a little room to ebb. Because he's not even 3 years in office yet. It's just 2 years and 7 months.
A lot of people will disagree very strongly with you when you say Godwin Obaseki was sort of like the bulwark that pushed, the wall that pushed Oshomole.
No, don't get it wrong. No.
Let me
Don't mislead people. You are on air. No, I'm not going to make you the judgmental for you. If anybody's going to be judgmental, it's going to be me.
Okay, can I finish the point?
No. I get what you want to say. I want to make it clear. I said that Oshomole said. I'm quoting Oshomole. I am not opinionated.
Okay.
Oshomole said in a public event hosted by no less a person than Unduka Obaegbina in VI. And he said that I ran for governor. The first monies that was raised for me by corporate Nigeria was raised by Godwin Obaseki.
Okay, so let me...
And he also said in the campaign trail that whatever successes he had, I'm not saying this because I'm me.
So let me quickly come in here.
Yes,
and
please.
Let me land on my point.
I don't want to make you land on the wrong tarmac.
So the point I was trying to make was about the fact that Oshomole had led a very boisterous campaign, as it were, against Asarime Osumba, even under the Labour Party that was an unknown quantity.
I am saying no.
That was an unknown quantity, and he did go to the tribunal.
No,
so
you are
he
wrong.
Had all the
You are
that.
wrong, Rufai. I, Pedro Obaseki, as the executive consultant to Fashola, was one of those who went to meet Adams Oshomole when he took the party card on a Monday for the Labour Party at Urokpota Hall. By Friday of that same week, we moved him from the Labour Party to ACN. He never ran under the Labour Party. He contested as a candidate of the ACN. And it was as that candidate, so that historiologically, so that we don't get it derailed. He was in the Labour movement as the NLC chairman. And he had left the NLC chairmanship 2 years prior to that, before he ran for governorship in 2007 in Edo State. It was as an ACN governor that he lost the...
We'll quickly go for a quick break.
Yes,
we'll come back and talk about this one.
You're right. I'm right on point.
Welcome back to the Morning Show here on the Rise News, and we still have with us discussing the Edo State Assembly crisis, Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki. He's the convener of the Midwest Movement and, incidentally, a cousin to the incumbent governor. Thank you for staying with us. And Rufai was just trying to point out the antecedent of Governor Oshomole, and you were talking about the role Governor Obaseki played, but Rufai seems to have a different opinion.
So, like I was saying, we've talked about that, but a lot of people will say Oshomole was coming from his past days in Labour, a man that held this country that held the federal government of this country anytime we had, protests and things like that. This was a man that had the charisma, that had what it takes. He was a one-man army. And he has consistently reproduced that, even with winning the last general election, despite the fact that a lot of people say, for the APC, despite the fact that a lot of people say his tactics were sort of Machiavellian. But he won the last general election.
No,
so,
no.
That's the power he has.
To lead, not mislead us. When a neophyte party, barely 8-9 months, I remember that party was put together April 2014, came and ran the elections in 2015. On that 2015, 29 states were inaugurated new governors. 9 were PDP, 20 were APC, under a more seemingly genial, quiet, gentle Oyegun. Oyegun won an election, but the collateral fallout of Adams Oshomole's engagement as the APC chairman is also in the public domain, because on the 29th of May, would like it or not, it decimated. So PDP, instead of 9 governors, sworn in 14.
But a lot of people will not say that's not the purview of Oshomole.
No.
It's the workings of the government, the last administration.
No, let me finish, sir. You are saying C Oibo, me they say C Fada. You get my point? So what are the indices? We are looking at the indices. Adams Oshomole barely returned the sitting president in a most contentious, and maybe the most contentious election in our recent history. On the other hand, don't forget, Buhari is a sitting incumbent. So a sitting incumbent who was returned with a lesser percentage of votes, more contentious environment, against an Oyegun who removed a sitting president, and an Oyegun who returned 20 APC governors who ab initio were not in power, and Oshomole who lost 5 or 6 of those seats. Benue was APC in 2015, is PDP now. Sokoto was APC in 2015, is PDP now. Bauchi was APC in 2015, is PDP now. Imo was APC in 2015, is PDP now.
Oyo.
Zamfara was APC in 2015, is PDP now. Oyo was APC. Right now, what Oshomole has done, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
What Oshomole has done has proved that the APC is less a national party, because it has only one seat, only one state in the southeast, in the southwest, and none at all in the southeast. While the PDP has a state at least in every geopolitical zone. The truth of the matter is, not everybody who wants to be truthful to himself will agree that Oshomole has not thrown the APC into a more tempestuous party. But that is, I'm not concerned about the APC-ness or the PDP-ness or the Buhari. No, I am concerned about Edo State and the geopolitical engineering within the state.
Let's talk about Edo State
presently.
more then.
Yes.
This could have been an Edo State under your watch, because
yes.
you vied to be the governor of the state.
Yes.
You ran against your cousin in that September 10, 2016 election. What would you have done differently at this time? Would you have done anything differently?
The thing I know I won't do from day one, and that was maybe my worst political gambit, was to make sure that my godfather was God. I wouldn't pander to anybody, any singular person who within the sanctuary of locked doors want to maybe fleece away either the economic or political capital of the state.
But some people
so
will
that
say
is the reason
Captain
why.
Hosa Okumbo
Yes.
is your godfather in politics when it comes to Edo politics.
Captain Hosa Okumbo. Not politically.
Okay.
Captain Hosa Okumbo is, let me speak Bini, I'm very sorry. Igolokun. He's blessed by the gods, all the pantheon.
So he's not a godfather?
No, he's human capital development of our people. It's beyond the restraining brackets of politics. Hosa, Captain Idahosa Wells Okumbo is a God-sent Benin man. And any day, I will say, I will climb the
godfather.
No, he's not. I will say it here.
Yes or no?
He's not. What godfather?
Okay.
Can I ask you? No,
Rufai.
Rufai, I have never held any political office.
But you
I
tried
have
holding
never.
one.
Yes, I ran for
You
office.
tried holding one before they played you to medicine at their court party.
No, not the Accord Party, please.
Yeah.
Don't get it wrong.
But before we
It was at the
deviate,
APC before I was adopted by
No,
Accord.
the Accord,
before
yes.
we deviate from that,
Yes.
let's focus on the question. And I was asking what you
But
would
get
do
this one
differently.
straight. I don't have a political godfather.
Do you think that that's the problem between Governor Obaseki and Governor Shomole, godfatherism?
Well, you see, what is panning out in Edo State, what many people are protesting against is the perception that there is attempts to turn into puppet players. And the major person they call is ex-governor Adams Oshiomhole. And this is something that he as a person fought against tooth and nail. He took on the political godfathers in the state, whether the person is a Tony and any, whether, I remember when he openly called Chief Gabriel Igbinedion an old rascal, you know, but those are things gone by. And I would have expected that because of the level of political exposure, a primal leader of this country, both politically and in terms of his engagements in labor. And I also feel that this is the reason why both of them, Godwin and Adams, can lock themselves, you know, fist cuffs their friends and settle their differences. I did that with my brother. I had huge political differences. That is huge. You get my point? But as time went down, I had to allow my personal strivings to be buried for the sake of the upward movement of the Edo people.
Okay.
And I feel that both of them, now one is in power, the other one wields influence. So one has ridden on the crest of the other, and it's almost like cybernetical for each of them to become governor. And the role Adams played in the emergence of Godwin is in the public domain. So, but a governor is a governor. When I heard Godwin speak, you feel sorry for him. It's like having a man with responsibility and then taking away the power to exercise that responsibility. It's like putting a ship in the middle of an ocean and taking away the streamers and taking away the sail. I think that what Adams should be doing right now is to make sure that he becomes the wind in Godwin's sail, so that Edo State remains in the grasp or in the grip of the APC. Because it would be a telling political defeat, or it would be a nadir for him, for Adams Oshiomhole. Okay. If based on the personality clashes going forward, Edo State is lost as a result of this, I think that will be huge political suicide.
I want to pick you on this.
Yes.
All of this was prior to the meeting a couple of days ago. From that meeting,
yes,
we pretty much know both parties, both gladiators have pitched their sense. The president is in support of somebody. They have given somebody a marching order. Go make that new proclamation. And it seems as though the governor, the incumbent governor, has been able to, wield his own influence too among the party. But the president is the leader of the party, and whatever it says is final. You were in that meeting. What happened?
Let me say this clearly. Anyone who is telling the governor, including Mr. President, because the president is not just the leader of the party, he's the leader of the nation. And he swore on oath to defend the Constitution of this country. And the Constitution of this country does not provide anywhere within the constitutions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, where a governor can issue 2 proclamations. It is not in the Constitution. It is ultra vile and is of no consequence within the letters of the law. I'm also speaking now as a lawyer. Number 2, the House of Representatives, about 10 days ago, gave a marching order in a resolution that was so badly thought out, and they wanted to evoke Section 11(4) of the Constitution, which they don't have the power to evoke, because the Constitution does not recognize the House of Rep in that sentence. It said the National Assembly. And the National Assembly the House of Rep is 1/2. And in a Gestalt situation, half does not make the whole. So unless the Senate and the House of Rep are in tandem and come up with a resolution which is now passed into law as a bill, that is the only time the Constitution provides for a takeover of the Edo State House of Assembly. Number 3, The Edo State House of Assembly, section 95(3) of that same constitution says that the National Assembly can take over only if a state assembly cannot hold a meeting. And to hold a meeting, they must form a quorum. And to form a quorum will be 1/3. Now, 1/3 of the 24 in Edo State is 8. And we hear that there are 12. For the takeover, there should be no speaker. There will be no mace in the presence. There will be no in situ sitting. That is, they won't be able to sit in the House of Assembly. That is condition 3. And condition 4 is that they are not able to form a quorum. This is the reason why Adams Oshiomhole, for 1 year and 7 months, was able to run the affairs of the Edo State with an Edo State House of Assembly that had only 9 members sitting in his office, while all those who had decamped to the PDP were left out, to make sure they couldn't sit in situ, in situation. He removed the roof of the House of Assembly. And between 2014 January and 2013 November and 2014 till 2015, the election of 2015, the Edo State House of Assembly sat in Oshiomhole's office with only 9 members, while the remaining 15 were locked out. And the House of Assembly roof was only replaced 3 weeks or 4 weeks before Oshiomhole led government. So what you are seeing playing out is not really, I think on June 17th, Governor Obaseki declared for himself his own democracy day. That was the day he maybe caught himself from the apron strings of Oshiomhole. So outside of the legalese, outside of the law.
We'll go to a quick break.
Yes.
We'll come back. There's a lot to be said.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. We still have Don Pedro Obaseki in the studio with us. We're talking about sundry issues around Edo State.
Indeed, the Edo State Assembly crisis in particular, which led to the Federal House of Assembly directing that all actions taken by the current assembly in the state should be declared null and void pending proper inauguration.
The Federal House also agreed that where the above recommendations fail, the National Assembly shall invoke provisions of Section 114 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which empowers it to take over the State House of Assembly until the situation normalizes. So,
Dr. Don Pedro, you're talking about the legality of this and
Yes.
the fact that under Governor Oshiomhole, we had 9 members of the House sitting
For 2 years.
for 2 years. But does this make it right?
No.
Repetition of it.
You see, we have to look at it, you have to look at what is right and what is correct. You see, the eyes of the law is blindfolded. Once the letters of the law are followed, the nicety, the morality is of little consequence. That is what Oshiomhole taught us once upon a time, that the morality does not actually hold because the law prescribes that the House of Assembly, so long as the Speaker is there and the mace is in presence, and so long as there is a quorum, which in Edo State is 8/24, the business of legislative governance, of legislation, can take place, even if you have to lock out the others. But that is not the case in this one. That one is a much more extreme case. Let's get it clear. The Constitution states in Section 105 that the governor who is sitting shall write a proclamation. You see, by law, what is inferred must be exactly expressed. You cannot infer into the law letters that were not expressly expressed. And what was expressed there is not shall write letters. Once it is pluralized, it gives room for the governor to do it more than once. But the law states clearly in definite articles, the proclamation, not the proclamations.
But the proclamation,
No.
the argument is also that the proclamation did not have a date.
No, that is not true. The House in the program I had with the Abdulrazak Namdas committee, we were on air, and they said that it was dated on the 14th. I'm quoting the National Assembly and also quoting that report on the 14th of June, which was I think was a Friday, and on the 17th, they also said that the inaugurations took place at 3:30, but the persons who were not inaugurated said the inauguration took place at 8:30, between 8:30 and 9 p.m. Now the law, funny as it is, states that it must be done within any of the working days of the week, and the law specifically minused Sunday. And the law did not say what time of day. That is clear. Number two, the law also states clearly that once there is a meeting, they cannot hold that inauguration unless they are 8+1. That is what the law states. Now, the fact that there's what we call force majeure. What if, presumably, irrespective of what was given as the excuses for the other, the remaining 15 at the beginning not showing up, what if they had all entered the bus, coming all the way from Auchi or from Iyamo, and then the bus had an accident? The inauguration will go on. That is exactly what happened in the case of Mr. Rochas Okorocha, who was not given his letter, his certificate of the return on the 11th of June, only for it to be given on the day after the inauguration, because it was of political expediency that he shouldn't be there. That is, by the way, what we have now is a balance between law and morality. On the level of morality, I want to see the Edo State House of Assembly inaugurated with everybody, the pomp and the pageantry, which was absent in this one. But did it meet the requirements of the law? The answer is a cabodo yes. Now let's come to the role of the governor. There are three things here. The role of the governor, the role of the clerk, and the role of the members. Now the governor's only role is to write a proclamation, one proclamation. The role of the clerk is to make sure that persons who were elected converge, and at the convocation, a speaker is chosen. And then after that, everybody reads an allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, administered by the elected speaker, who must be elected by no less than simple majority of members present. That is what the law states. But to remove him would take 2/3 of the total number of persons so elected. Now, all the inaugurated, yet to be inaugurated, yet to be sworn in members elect are exactly what they are, members elect. So what I've been begging them, I've been speaking with them since the very day that happened, that the only way legally that you can take on Mr. Godwin Obaseki, and if you feel aggrieved, is to get inaugurated, because you cannot inaugurate or swear. The law does not allow or permit or give the room for anyone to be sworn in twice in one tenure for the same office. I will also let you know.
But are you saying that the people that are saying the governor should have that declaration is oblivious of the law?
I told them when I made the presentation, I am very sure if you call a son here, I'm sure in all this political there is no lawyer that has told you that the law permits 2 proclamations. You cannot swear in one person into the same office twice. I will give you one example. No, let me give you an.
Violating the Constitution?
Did the president give an order?
That's what a lot of people. That's what pressmen are reporting.
No, no, you are a pressman. I used to be a pressman like you, my brother.
The president's camp did say, go ahead and make the proclamation again.
No, he can't do that. He can't do that. If he does that, I will go to court.
It has been taken
because
to
I will
court.
go to court and it will. Because right now, you know what we are doing? Thank you, this one, for just saying that.
It has been taken to court.
It's in court.
We are waiting for the interpretation.
So it is wrong, even now, for the House of Representatives to be playing policeman where it has no jurisdiction. The only person or persons that can call for a reproclamation is the court. And what the court will do to be able to create a reproclamation is to annul. That is the word. Not cancel, not reduce. Annul. An annulment means that the first thing that happened is assumed in the eyes of the law not to have happened at all.
Okay.
The only body statutorily empowered to do that in the Constitution of Nigeria is a court of competent jurisdiction. So when you see legislators now beginning to append to themselves jurisprudence and jurisdiction, it is not known to law. That is where the problem really is. Number 2, they cannot even take over the House of Assembly of Edo State so long as 8 members can sit with a speaker. The only way they can is when 7 members are sitting and the mace is not present and they are not sitting in situ in a place where they should sit. That is the only time that the National Assembly, not the House of Rep,
the National Assembly.
The National Assembly. There's no mention. There's no single mention in section 11(4) that they are quoting that empowers the National House of Reps. The National House of Reps is a junior partner in a
bicameral legislature.
In a bicameral legislature, which is referred to in the Constitution with one single appellation, National Assembly.
Okay, let's talk about the Edo State politics in general, beyond the Assembly crisis.
Yes.
Governor Obaseki emerged as an unpopular candidate. We all know how he emerged with Governor Shomali insisting on him being a technocrat and bringing the change to the table. But 2 years, 7 months down the line, would you say he's a popular governor? And what changes has it brought to the state?
I think there's a... The first day I saw this caption, I just came back from one of my trips and I drove it to Benin. And somebody was talking to me in Benin Club. And instead of the person saying Governor Obaseki, he said, well, we can see. I said, we can see, Governor.
We can see.
No, wake up and see. Because of the fact that he is not politician, in that doesn't mean he has not taken over the political space. What he has done, let me explain to you, very simple. Normally in Nigeria, when you are fixing roads, politicians want you to see the roads being fixed. So on Monday, the governor or the whatever will block 3rd Milan Bridge and all of us are in go slow so that we see government at work. What Godwin does is the road is going to be fixed. You work at midnight and morning you stop working and continue on the weekend. So when people wake up on a Monday, brand new road. So that's why they call him wake and see.
You know, and ask that question.
Again, no, another thing is he also, you know, Edo State has been held in vice-like grip by motor park touts. In an interview I had with This Day some time ago, I said Edo State is at the vice grip of a motor park democracy, where persons...
Well, it's always been the case.
Yeah, you use that as always been the case before as a young man.
And did write on that. The likes of the, I mean, we don't mention names, but the Suas of this one.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Did write on
so
that.
what Godwin did ab initio was take them off the streets. And if you look at the videos on social media, the videos of those who are clamoring for a removal of Godwin are those who have held Edo State in the vice grip of a motor park. Those things are gone. So on a psychosomatic level, he has liberated our mental space. On a physical level, we are seeing constructions of stuff going on. I don't believe that construction of roads, I won't lie to you, is actually achievement.
Well, job creation is still a big problem.
Job creation in Edo State?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know about that because even though I'm a broadcaster, I the farmland in my state.
It's instituted all the, the projects, you know, necessarily to be able to empower the Edo people.
Yes.
But there's still a gaping hole of creating jobs for the populace and the young people in the
You're
states.
an Edo man, my brother. Let's be frank with ourselves. Godwin has been governor. November 2018 made it 2 years. He will hit the 3rd year in November 2019. We are in July. So if these things we are talking about is for a guy who's been in office for 2.5 years, out of a 4-year tenure, if I was a lecturer in the university and I'm scoring them, I will score him at the end of the semester. The semester ain't over yet. And so far, in spite of that, we can calibrate, draw, and see the amount of effort that Godwin has put into.
That is what the opposition will say is just fraternal glee on your part.
I asked this question because...
Do you know that the opposition... why do you think... Okay, I'm on air, and I'm a leader of the opposition. I am not just a member of the PDP. I am a primal member of the PDP in my state. But this is beyond party. This is beyond PDP-ness or APC-ness. I'm sure you took part in you saw the 2019 elections. I'm sure Arise broadcasted Pedro on air, sitting on this same channel as the head of media and strategy for Atiku. So it's not about PDP or whatever.
We'll go on a quick break and we'll be right back to talk some more on the Edo politics. Please stay with us.
All right, welcome back. We still have Dr. Pedro Obaseki with us in the studio. We're talking about everything I do.
And the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly and, of course, Edo State politics in general. Before that break, we were talking about the larger politics in Edo. Yeah. And I asked you a question about how the governor has performed, because a lot of people think that, you know, this rancor really boils down to a return ticket for 2020. However, there are others who would say it's monetization of the politics. In a recent outburst, I don't know if you saw that video of the governor who said, you know, his alleged crime is that he was not paying those who brought him into power. And he went on to say, there are 300,000 Edo people who brought me to power, and those are the people I should focus on. So do you think this is about his return ticket, or this is about the monetization of Nigerian politics?
Both are one and same. You know, the return ticket is being tied, you know, similarly by those who have the power to tie it to these supposed payments of handouts. You see, I don't want to excuse the governor on such arrangements. I don't know if I have the right to be personal. Uncle Godwin is a money manager, one who has helped run the debt management office, one who was maybe, to a large extent, one of the biggest stockbrokers in this country, one who takes companies, weight them, SWOT them, check their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and take them to the open market. So for such a person to be governor of the state, and you expect business as usual, for him to be dispensing funds off the cuff to persons who just expect some form of political largesse, it will be expecting to milk a rock. So you're bound to meet a brick wall. So when I heard that, the fact that he came to say just last week on air was like he was saying it like 7 months, 8 months too late. Now, those who accused him in the open actually accused him, it's on social media. I don't want to mention names since you guys say we shouldn't mention names anymore. And they made it clear that they are angry that they are not getting a sizable chunk of the Edo cake. And he says, ain't no cake to hand out. Work, you get paid. But you don't get work and you want me to pay you, I can't do that. I think that is where that was the beginning. You get my point? So, and all of them, if I was in their shoes, the only way I can do payback is to wait for when he's going to ask for a second-term ticket. And when that time came, or it's not even time yet, I think they are acting now like kids who missed the bus. They jumped the gun a lot too soon. So that is what the thing is about. But I think that has brought Godwin on a higher pedestal. Now he's riding the crest, and the waves is on the side. The sail is on his side. This governor that has refused to dispense with the common wealth and patrimony of Edo peoples. And that is important. You know, we cannot continue to feed and fill the basket of persons who just come into the political space simply for what they can get out of it. People whose complimentary card or business card, just read his name, the party logo, and his position therefrom.
Or maybe friends of the governor.
Friends of the governor. No, I've even seen the one that wrote brother to the youth leader. He gave it to me at the fuel station. This is not a joke. I was at the fuel station, DVD Petroleum in Benin, and he walked up to me, and Mr. Erio gave me a card. And the card read, then Erio Sakbaon was the PDP SPC youth leader. He said, brother to the youth leader. In a state where since 1967, we have never come out third in national WAEC exams. Is it our first or second? We struggle between Edo State and Abia State. And such level, with 5, 6 universities, with persons with so much education, we are being browbeaten and reading by motopark touts who are feeding on government largesse and others who have gone to school, their take-home pay can't take them home. So if we have a governor who suddenly says, no, hello guys, this must stop, even if it is at the risk of losing my second-term ticket, a good thing must be done. And that is what led to this in the first place. And in terms of the inauguration, I think it was an existential threat to the governor. You get my point? And I think you used the word at the beginning that Oshomole was Machiavellian. And I said that maybe right now, the more Machiavellian of the two, as at that point in time, June 17th, was the governor. At that point, the governor actually took away the political carpet from underneath Oshomole. I will quote Oshomole in a meeting we once had. It no matter how you kill your enemy, make it die. Okay. You get my point? And I think right now, he or his camp are maybe like recipients of that mantra. And I think also, knowing the kind of person the governor is, Godwin as a human being, is a peaceful man. And I think any ways that will make this a peaceful resolution, so long as it does not fret away his principled stand, the entire Edo nation will stand by him.
All right. Real quickly, the Edo State House of Assembly.
Yes.
It's called the Nahoro House.
Yes.
And we all know the artisans of the great icon, Nahoro.
Yes.
Moved the motion for independence in the early 20s.
Yeah, 1953
1953 at the age of 25, 26.
Yes.
What would an Anthony, a Par Anthony Nahoro of blessed memory, say as his house has been decimated by political siege? What will he say?
I think whatever he wants to say, he must have said it to Adams. Wait, may I finish? He must have said it to Adams a lot of times between 2013 and 2015. The man must have cried his voice hoarse in the grave. Seriously. But right now, I think if the man sees what is going down, he will pat Godwin on the back. Let me explain why. For not pandering to those who will rather fret away our commonwealth.
We have less than 1 minute to go, and I have to quickly ask you, 2020, would you be throwing your hat in the ring?
I won't be throwing my hat into anybody, because I don't know who's going to make 2020. I'm a member of the PDP, and when it gets to that point, we'll cross it. But I will be throwing my hat in the ring for anyone who will be able to sacrifice his APC-ness and his PDP-ness for his Edo-ness. Because at the end of the day, those parties don't sign checks. Those parties don't hold me. But my Edo-ness, the commonwealth of the Edo nation will be prima. And I can read through them because I know them. What stops me from being governor? There is nothing that stops anybody from being governor. The only thing you need to be governor is to be a bona fide tax-paying citizen of that state.
And a war chest too.
And no, you see, that is where you missed it at the beginning. You say, Oshomole, Oshomole. The war chest, now Godwin opened the war chest. At that point, he was the guy who was singing yo-ho-ho.
But you don't have that war chest.
Are you sure?
You don't? Do you have the financial war chest?
What do you mean by financial war chest?
Do you have the financial war chest?
So if I'm running for governor now, you believe I can make your children...
Can you put 50 billion down to campaign?
Because I didn't steal from nobody. And until the politics of Nigeria is taken away from the arithmetics of the pay pocket, you will keep having the wrong pegs in the wrong holes, and you have persons who cannot recite the national anthem as ministers. You will have persons, governors, who will be under the sanctuary of locked doors, be stealing the dollars they actually control. You will be having persons as presidents, or as governors, or as ministers, or as House of Rep persons who cannot even write their names, and who will continue to ride on the soul-reading backs of the poor, where there are masses of persons whose take-home pay can't take them home, but they will come with their siren crazy dictatorships and browbeat us on election day. It doesn't matter who wins, it doesn't matter who votes, they win. And we must stop that, and at that point, Nigerians will move. We will make our voices to emerge from this kind of politics we are playing.
Are there people ready for that kind of change you're describing?
Yes, you know why?
Why?
I want to quote Shoyinka. He said the man dies in all who keeps silent in the face of oppression. Yeah. Once a man changes, there is no revolution. It's an evolution of the self. Once each and every one in our cubicles change, everybody changed by default. Engine, the Okada owner, the Omolanke pusher does not want to remit what, and corruption becomes a huge gargantuan, a huge web that we cannot
Thank you
bear.
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You see, the conversation today has been a contest between idealism and realism, and only time will tell in the political space in Edo State. And so that's our show for you today.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I am Adesua Omoruan.
And I'm Rafal Yoseni.
Goodbye.